Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Raffle Plane Update. A few things are progressing along nicely. Wanted to kind of highlight one of our sponsors today, and that is Great Lakes Aero Plastics. They sponsored all the acrylic glass that's going on this. Before we get there, I wanted to show you the boot cowl. Last time I showed you guys a roll of sheet metal, and we've now custom fabricated the boot cowl. We've attached it to the firewall with rivets, and I also showed you the battery box last time, which had been mounted up on the side, courtesy of Cub Crafters, Dakota Cub. I'm confused. Anyway, so we had to custom fabricate a panel to go on the side of the boot cowl to access the battery. So we've riveted in nut plates, and then we have this panel here that will ultimately go on the side of the boot cowl for access to the battery, which is mounted here, or will be mounted here. You see the battery tray and the relays, so that will all open up when you take that panel off. So the whole boot cowl and firewall mounts up here. Firewall was courtesy Atlee Dodge. The sheet metal was Reeve Aeromotive. We've also, I showed you the instrument panel last time as a big rectangle of 50 thousandths aluminum, and we've now got that cut to fit. If you come around the back side here, you'll see a preliminary layout of what's going to be in that panel. It's going to be pretty tight, even though we've got 4 inches wider to work with. We're putting some bigger stuff in this year's plane. So we're going to have a Garmin GTX 345 transponder, which is full ADS-B in and out, which will display on Garmin 796 panel mounted GPS, so you'll see all the traffic. The COM is also a Garmin, which is their latest and greatest at 225. And then we're going to have an Electronics International 30P and 30C, which are engine analyzers and fuel monitoring. We're actually going to have electronic sending units in the tanks, which will display accurate fuel quantity on the 30C, and then all your engine analyzing will be on the 30P. It will retain the sight gauges, so for the old-fashioned guys that want that reliability of actually seeing the fuel, those will still be in there. And then Mid-Continent's donating an airspeed indicator and altimeter, which are required VFR instruments. And then Garmin's and Northern Lights are working together to get us a G5, which is going to be a pretty sweet flight display, airspeed, altimeter, a whole bunch of other parameters. And then we still have yet to figure out where all of the other parts and pieces are going to go. We're going to have to get a remote ELT switch on the panel, which the ELT is 406, sponsored by Pacific Coast Avionics. And then we have to get all the switches for all the lights and the master switch and avionics master and all that, along with all the circuit breakers. And the Electro-Air electronic ignition switch panel has to get in there somewhere. One of the things that I'm waiting for is the front stick to be able to make sure we have the clearance under the panel, and that's going to dictate where we end up breaking the panel, i.e. bending the panel back so that the stick will clear, and we want as much real estate as we can get there for all those switches and circuit breakers. So to the windows, the wide body from airframes is 4 inches wider, so a stock Super Cub windshield won't fit. So it requires a PA-12 windshield, which is sitting in a box waiting to get cut and fit, and that's pending some more pieces for the boot cowl before we can put the boot cowl on, and then we'll have to custom fit that PA-12 windshield. And this is going to be the L21 version of the Cub, which basically puts in the big square windows. So standard clamshell doors, and we're going to do glass on the top and the bottom of that. And then we've got the L21 Windows. Your standard Cub has the D window right here, so this extends this to all glass. We've got the protective paper on it so we don't scratch it. We've only removed the areas that we need to in order to get it to fit into channels and whatnot. This stuff, it's acrylic, so it's plexiglass, and it's heat formable, and to cut it we usually use like a cutting wheel. And then it's real important to clean up the edges. If you have any perpendicular scratches on the edge, that's a place where a crack can propagate, so we have to clean those up. And what we do is usually take like a razor blade and just slide it sideways down the edge of the glass to clean that up so that there aren't any stress points. The Skylight up here, this is a typical Cub. The Skylight is from here forward, and this is going to be glass all the way back, so there's actually two pieces. We're working on the top front Skylight now. We just finished this up, and in order to get this to fit, you can see there's an angle here. We have to bend that glass, and you can't just cold bend it, it'll snap, so we have to actually heat it up. And to do that, we use this simple contraption. It's just simply a cord with heat tape, and we lay that out on the glass, and then we mark it, measure it, line it up, tape it all down real tight, and then plug it in, and it gets really hot. It takes about 6 or 7 minutes to heat up to the point where the glass can bend. So we bend it all up, and then and it's a little bit oversized, so we set it up there after it's bent, and then we mark it all out, and then we cut all the edges, and then to secure the glass in place, we rivet in nut plates, and we use special bits to drill through the glass. It's an unfluted bit, so it doesn't grab the glass. It actually just kind of burns through the glass. And then there'll be channels, aluminum channels that we're custom fabricating that will secure that all in place. And the other thing is this has got a full slider. I'll go around here. It would be a full, this is all glass. Ordinarily a Cub's got a vertical piece here, and this part of the triangular window is fixed. This is going to be a full slider, so you'll be able to slide the front half back or the back half forward. And then we'll also put a snap vent in here so the pilot can open up for air cooling. And this all gets secured. There's felt channels that pop in here and up here, so then that window stays in a track, and then they'll slide back and forth. As far as other update stuff, you can see we got most of the kydex formed and fit and secured. The carbon fiber floorboards from Carbon Concepts are all cut and fit. We got a under seat tray, so the Atlee Dodge Safari seat will sit here, and there'll be plenty of room on both sides for access into there. The seats are currently at Buster's Upholstery in Anchorage, getting custom upholstery done. We've got these little fairing pieces, carbon fiber, super lightweight, and those get cut and trimmed. There's a pulley that sits in here, so there's a little pulley cover that'll cover that up. There's one on each side, and then there's another one up front here. It's a pulley, so that gets covered like so, and the cables run back to your control stick, which is going through paint right now. You can see we've got our custom covers and placards. This placard will actually get changed because we have 24-gallon tanks, not 17. And that's about it that's going on right now. So as parts keep coming in, we keep attaching them and making further progress. Probably in the next week or two, we're going to be filling this up with bird nests of wires. We have a bunch of control modules that need to go in there for all the different instrumentation, and then huge wiring harnesses. And Northern Lights is working on that stuff right now. Electronics International is programming and building up the CGRs. So all that stuff will be going in. We want to have all that in before we do fabric, because we don't want to have little pieces of wire that we trim off that fall down into the belly. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of now, and we'll keep you guys apprised as things progress. And if you don't have your tickets, I know they're selling fast, so you want to call the Airmans and get a hold of some tickets for yourself, and hopefully this will be your bird. So thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.